Initially, since the team was not that big, so we were just constantly working closely with the business group. But then, as the team started growing, we realized that there needs to be a proper demarcation of the business tech and the techno business part, which is in a fancier way called product. So we first segmented our teams. Later on, we added a lot of procedures and protocols, such as documenting a process, changing the way we take the business requirement, and understanding priorities of tasks that are assigned to us, creating timelines around it, and striving to meet the timelines, and delivering projects on time, tracking of the deliverables. A lot of things on the process, actually. In short, everything is turning into contactless, right? The social distancing is the best way to stay in touch with everyone, it seems, right? Now, right from delivery to general attendance to payment, everything is turning digital. Everything is changing to contactless from the previous ones, wherein we had a physical contact for cash payment, biometric attendance policies, right? Delivery, wherein you get to interact with your delivery guys and all, right? So I'm sure, a lot of things are going to be contactless. Drone delivery shouldn't be that far in short. We've not been any target of any kind of malware attacks or anything like that. However, it has always been our top concern in order to keep the weakest point in your organization, weakest person, and the weakest point in your organization checked periodically every now and then for a lot of phishing scams, right? A lot of imposters coming into your network, trying to get into your network, right? Most of the scams, see, digitally you tend to follow certain protocols, so those can be secured at any cost. It's the human being that are vulnerable to any kind of attack. So we keep on educating our team members on how you can stay secure in the network, right? How you can use it. So we encourage using SSO to manage our office infrastructure. Everything is hosted in a cloud network in a secure VPN. So not everyone can get access to all the secure dashboards and information of the organization. So yeah, those are the main concerns and main points that we're targeting in order to keep our organization secure. Apart from what I said right now, right, we periodically do BAPT, and we are working on getting CISA certifications in order to increase our organization's security, right? Even in case of BAPT, we get a lot of feedback from the auditors, and we keep on periodically improving those in order to stay compliant and at the edge of that innovation, at the edge of the security compliance, right? So that has been our prime focus in order to maintain the security in the system. Apart from that, we periodically on our side also keep on playing with the security of the system in order to see if there is any lag, if there is any vulnerability in the system, and if we find it, we immediately fix it. And we even reward the bounty hunters on our organization itself. There are many technologies evolving, right? The AI and VR are something that has been a long talk. Blockchain is something that everyone is talking about, and in current days, neo-banking is something that everyone is talking about. But what I feel that is going to strongly change the face of the Indian fintech ecosystem is the banking in the form of APIs. So, as of now, I'm sure all of you are using banks for various purposes, right? For example, giving a general statement, tracking your expenses, maybe performing certain transactions, right? The banks are still yet to provide that cutting edge features to make the customers interaction smooth. So a lot of so bank happily came ahead saying that we'll take care of the banking portion and you take care of increasing the customer experience. That's when banks came with the API. So a lot of fintechs are emerging now, to innovate the way people are doing banking. So I'm sure this is going to be a game changer. It comes to financial inclusion again. So before we were there in the market, right, there were a lot of people in the middle segment, to the blue collar and the earning segments of customers who were struggling to get a good credit, right? They had to go to the banks to do a small formalities. They had to go through brokers and everything. Today, because LenDenClub is there, everyone can digitally apply for a loan right through the platform, and get access to that standard credits that they're eligible for. And likewise, for an investor who is always curious about what instrument they should invest in, this is the simplest form of investment wherein they simply invest on a person's requirement and increase their return. So I feel proud to say that LenDenClub has brought this gap between the credit and investment closer in order to enhance the banking experience of customers on both the sides, on the borrowing and on the lending side. There could be a lot of features that would enhance the customer experience in the near future. Maybe the way I see it in the near future is without even having to open an application, maybe, right? But that would be one of the big milestones. But to reach I mean, there are a lot of automations that would be required in between, wherein a customer could have a seamless journey simply by providing a small information about their Aadhaar card or any other unique identification number. I should be able to fetch a lot of information in and around that customer and build a small persona about that customer and assess that customer, provide that information to that customer right then and there in a fraction of seconds, right? So that would help them have a better experience in our app. Initially, we all were overwhelmed about how is this going to work, how is it going to affect our organization, how everyone is going to function. Right, there was a lot of panic, but eventually we figured out the mantra of making things happen despite the lockdown. So now, I mean, we have created a good KPIs for each and every members of our organization. So they stick to their KPIs. We keep on upgrading their goals. We keep on adding more to their goals and targets. We keep on tracking the goals. We ensure that they meet the timelines accordingly. And if they don't, then we talk to them one on one and understand what are the challenges they're facing. And whatever challenges it is, we fix them on top priority, right? So that has helped us keep tact with the deliverables. Apart from that, we also got a good amount of time to sit back and think on what we could do in a different scenario. Maybe this lockdown was one of those versions, right, wherein all of us had to work from different locations, right? In future, there may be similar scenarios like this. Maybe somebody has to work offline for some days, or somebody has to work in a different time zone. So this lockdown has become a blessing in disguise, which can tell us that now that we have built this capability of onboarding anyone from any corner of the world, we are location and time zone invariant now. We have digitized most of our operations, right? Most of our processes are completely digitized. A lot of automations are already in place, right? So, I mean, our process is anyway self-learning and self-innovating. We are currently working on writing a good ML structure. After that, NLP is in progress, wherein we will keep that NLP will help us enhance our experience with our customer support, improve our credit underwriting mechanism, right? Enhance investors' experience by letting them foresee their portfolio in future. So there are a lot of digital initiatives that we've taken in order to automate our organization and automate our processes. Apart from that, we've also given KPIs to our employees and the staffs, right? So they work on KPIs, they take the daily target and they ensure that these are the KPIs and points that they have achieved. And based on that, we keep a good track of it. We reward them based on their initiative achievements, and we keep them feedback in case they're not able to achieve their target or anything. So these are some of the standard initiatives that we've taken. I think that pretty much takes care of what your question is. It's high time for all of us to uh, focus on the digital aspect of operating your business, right? So when you are in that web, right, that web also has a small portion called dark web, right? You have to ensure that you are always away from it. And how do you do that? Is by creating a secure network within your team and your organization during your work hours. So ensure that you implement a proper security system in each and every laptops that you've given to your member. That ensure that your office files and office operations are accessed towards a secure network through VPN or using SSOs, right? Ensure that a file transfer through USB or cloud upload or email service are restricted to a certain extent while not restricting the capability of that person to do certain search and research in order to innovate their process, right? For example, in case of developers, they tend to look for solutions every now and then on Google, right? They should not be restricted to that. Having said that, general restrictions of how your code is to be managed, how your files are to be processed, how your data are to be transferred between different network layers are to be checked every now and then for securities and vulnerabilities. In our case, I mean, first thing is that it's a flat organization. There is no hierarchy as such when it comes to interacting with one another. But having said that, it's not completely flat because certain to achieve certain goals in terms of work, there is a small setup required based on their expertise and based on their roles. So that is the only hierarchy that we follow. Otherwise, it's a flat organization. Everyone calls everyone by the first name. And apart from that, the customer set that we are working with is completely unique, right? At one side, we have a classic customer who has a good knowledge of the finance and fintech, in the general finance market and investment market, right? And we have to educate them about this new venture. At the same time, we have to talk to borrowers, but not so well versed with the credit process, and some of them are smart borrowers who tend to play around with the system. So we have to keep ourselves up with their type of shrewdness, right? So that gives that lets us interact with almost most of the Indian masses, right? Wherein there is a classic type of person and wherein there is a general middle class Indian. So it gives us, it helps us realize that it helps us realize the diversity of the Indian customer side. Very soon, we are quite keen on becoming more involved in their day-to-day finances. So we are just exploring ideas on how we can be helpful to those customer sets in order to enable the finances, in order to help them do this contactless payment, in order to help them get those deliveries without any without moving out of their location, right, or out of their comfort zone. So yeah, we are looking to enhance their digital experience further at LenDenClub.
For more updates from CXOTV, please like and subscribe to our channel.